Everybody, Dan Illman, Mike here, taking a look at the DRF race of the day for Wednesday, October the 2nd. It's race number 10 at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. The Too Much Coffee handicap for Indiana breds going 1 mile and a 16th. Before we get to the field, we're getting close to Breeders' Cup time, and DRF has got a deal for you. 10% off all DRF past performances. Use the coupon code DRFTV10, and there is your promo code right there. Let's take a look at the field for the Too Much Coffee handicap. It is a big field at Horseshoe, Indianapolis on Wednesday. 12 in the body of the field, 13 Ice Express on the outside, and the 4 Demolisher puts his unbeaten streak on the line.
Find out a little more, I guess, about Demolisher here, Dan, but he's looked good so far. He's sprinted effectively. He's routed effectively. He's turfed the dirt in here. And he's got the figures that suggest that he's certainly capable of handling this little step up in class.
And he appears like a tactical sort that can work out his own trip. We'll see where Timeform US has him on the pace projector. This is expected after the first half mile of the race. CJ Storm should show speed, but Demolisher likely won't be too far behind. One big dude's going to have to deal with a tough outside post position, but one big dude is quick. And I wonder if they really try to hustle him out of there.
I thought there was going to be, I thought there was plenty of speed in this race, Dan, and I do agree with Timeform US that this pace just might be fast. I didn't really see any way around that.
If the pace is hot, keep an eye on the 12 King Ice. Note the LP flag over his chiclet. That indicates that King Ice, who won this race last year from way out of it, has the fastest Timeform US late pace rating. Let's start things off with a number 1, Hobnobbin General. He's 15-1 on the morning line, in pretty good form right now. Stakes placed in his most recent start. Another horse that might get the right race flow. Breaking from the inside, should be able to save valuable ground behind a hot pace, and we'll see if he can work his way through.
I can see him getting the right trip in here, Dan. I just didn't necessarily see that one race that necessarily made me want to bet him against this field. He just looks like he's in a little bit tough right in a spot like this. I won't knock his last 2 races. He ran fine in both of them, but this is a tougher spot for him.
Mowens was a very good 2-year-old in the Indiana bred ranks and is now going to stretch out again off a couple of sprint efforts. Last time out going 3/4 of a mile and just really not getting into it. The pace wasn't very fast. He sort of just clunked along to finish 3rd. I expect him to show a little bit more speed stretching out to a mile. It's just been a long time between drinks.
Seems like he went off form for much of last year, Dan. I mean, I feel like if you really took apart some of those races, you could make excuses for him. Really, it seems like he's a horse who doesn't like a wet track at all. He just caught several of those for a big stretch of races there. And then they tried some different things with him. I do feel like it seems like he's come back and he's back in better form now so far this year. Even though he hasn't won a race this year, I think he's running more competitive races. I don't mind them stretching him back out in distance for this, because if you go back, he's got plenty of races around 2 turns that would give him a chance in here. And I think he's got the right running style for this race. I thought he was pretty interesting at double-digit odds.
Black, White, and Gold is the number 3. He's going to repeat the turf to dirt move that resulted in his 2nd level allowance win against State Breds, that being 3 starts back. That's the good news. The bad news is, and then his subsequent start, the Governor's Handicap, Demolisher handled him by double-digit lengths. He is another horse, though, that can adapt to the pace, likely to fall back, try to make one run.
He's going to be a big price in here, but he's still really hard to get behind in here. Again, he got to win 3 back in an off-turf race. His races surrounding that just don't really make him competitive in here.
Demolisher won on turf last time out, but let's go back to his most recent win. This is the Governor's Handicap. It was his first race around 2 turns. He broke from a tough outside post position, but he's pretty quick. And I thought the jock gave him a very nice ride, able to ease in gradually on the backstretch so that he was basically in the 2 path heading into the turn. Now he has to fight it out in the stretch, and he's very game to win. He looks like a horse that still has a good amount of upside potential. And as a 3-year-old, he's already beaten the older horses.
Yeah, there's just a lot to like about him, and not only the running style, because he did show that he doesn't need to be on the lead, and the fact that he's shown that he can handle a lot of different things. And also, Dan, you saw him have to work a little hard there to get the job done, the Governors, but that horse that he beat is pretty good, man. I mean, he had won a stakes race in his prior start. He exited that race. I know he's more of a sprinting type, but he exited that race to win his next start with a 90 buyer by the length of the stretch. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like he's beating good horses and he's looking good doing it.
Runaway Rojo looks to be a solid Indiana bred for the Dallas Stewart barn, given a little bit of a break since his most recent race. This is an open 2nd level allowance at Horseshoe, Indianapolis, however, and he was up and on this reasonable pace down towards the inside. He is confronted by this horse. It looks like he's in a little bit of trouble, but he's going to beat this even money horse on the square.
Yeah, I thought he did too. I liked his performance, and I appreciate the fact that he's another one who's shown that he's capable and maybe even better when he's not on the lead in his races, Dan. I mean, two starts back, or the most recent start rather, where he just sort of got involved on the pace and he got the job done there. But I think he's better without the lead, and that should be the trip he pulls here.
Stakes winner as a 2-year-old here at Horseshoe, Indianapolis, and worked a bullet 5/8 at Churchill Downs for Dallas the other day. Berloni is the 6, another horse coming off of a victory. This one stretched out to 2 turns over a wet track. It's only a first-level Indiana bred allowance, and he was up close to the pace in here. But once produced at the 3/16 pole, he puts this runner-up away in grand style.
Yeah, he looked good winning this race. It's a wet, sealed racetrack. Maybe that had something to do with it. It was obviously a good spot for him, too, in there. But he looks good winning. It's a new top figure for him. He's a relatively recent claim, and so maybe he's just a better horse now, Dan. He does look like a horse who wants to be forward, though, and that could really work against him in here.
Perhaps the 7 Painters canvas is just going to get the right setup in here, and you can't argue with his current form. He's won 3 of his last 4 starts, including this victory, and now winners of 4 life allowance against fellow Indiana breds. He's on the outside. He has work to do. Once this bay changes leads, he's on his way, and he runs right by the leaders. This is a likable win. The buyer came back a bit light, but he's likely going to get a setup. The question is he a stakes horse at this point in his career?
His connections are going to find out. They're going to do it, I guess, at the right time because he is in good form right now. He has to run a faster race than he's just never really run fast enough to beat this field.
CJ's Storm is the number 8. He could be part of the pace in here. He was on the lead last time out in the Empire Handicap, and he got a little bit tired, and they went 24-48 and change. I think the distance is a big question mark for CJ's Storm. When they've stretched him out, he's run okay, but I don't think as well as in his one-turn races.
No, the distance is a big question, especially with his running style, because when they stretch him out, I mean, he wants to be part of the pace in all of his longer races, Dan. They put him right up on the lead. That's probably not going to work in here. And I actually felt like he ran a representative race last time. That wasn't a poor effort.
Highest memories, the number 9 looks like a very dangerous contender in this race. He's won 4 of his last 5 starts. He's used a variety of running styles, including this race, the Empire Handicap last time out, where he sat off of the pace. In his prior start, he went gate to wire. Here, when he's produced, he gets it done. It was a good performance with a buyer top of 78. Coming into this race the right way, he can work out the right trip.
Yeah, I thought he was a little bit of a tough call in here, though. He is in good form right now, but he's not a great price on the morning line, Dan. And it's not like he doesn't have to improve to win this race either. It's also just at least worth noting. He's one of those horses. He's been winning recently, yes, but he's just going off at super short prices in those races. Like he's just really well spotted more than anything else. And I'm not sure that he's that well spotted here.
Zolo, the number 10, has only gone turf to dirt once in his career. It resulted in an open length score in his final start of 2023. He was beaten by Demolisher last time out, but that race was on turf. Let's go back to his start 2 back. I realize this is only a 3/4 of a mile race, but this is one of Zolo's best performances. He's sitting in behind the lead. He gets to the outside. He runs by them all, and he earns a very good 87 buyer speed figure. A repeat of that buyer makes him tough in here, and he's run well around 2 turns in the past.
Yeah, he has. That's what I like about him too. He's turf to dirt for this, which has really worked for this horse in the past as well. This is certainly a very good effort, but he's capable going longer. He's got the right running style for this race. We'll see what kind of price he settles at because I don't know how short you really want to go on it, but he's in good form right now.
If you want to forgive the 11-1 Big Dude for his most recent start, you can. He was hooked up in a speed duel from the start, and he was pretty much done after 5/8 of a mile. The problem is that situation could easily replicate itself on Wednesday. Another field full of speed. He went gate to wire 2 back when he was able to drop down a 24-1 opening quarter. That's not going to happen here.
Yeah, and the other thing is he's outside again too, so it's not like I don't know if they have that many options with him. They ran him in this race last year. He had the outside post. They went. He got involved on the pace in a race that was won by a closer. It seems like he could be in line for a similar kind of trip here.
King Ice was in super form against Indiana breds in 2023. He won 3 of his last 4 starts against Indiana breds, and ever since then, they've been running them against open company, including his most recent race. This is a first-level allowance at Horseshoe, Indianapolis, his second start off of a short layoff, and I think this was a very good prep to lead him up to this race. He has a lousy post position on Wednesday, but he has the right running style, and against Indiana breds, he certainly fits.
Yeah, he really does. He got a great trip in this race, but it was a nice progression for this horse. Now he's, third off that little bit of a lift. We already know that he can sit back and make one big run and get the job done because he did it in this race last year. there's a lot to like about this horse, and he might be a fair price.
And Ice Expresses, you're also eligible. His last race is a throwout on turf. The time before that was a pretty good performance. 76 buyer, first time for this barn, but it's a lot to ask for this lightly raced horse, breaking from a tough outside post against this kind of field.
Yeah, he's like a lot of other horses in here, too. He's got, it seems like maybe he's getting better, and so maybe this is the right time to try him, but he probably has to run the best race of his life to win.
Before we take a look at our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time, it's stakes action for our Wednesday race of the day. The Too Much Coffee. You're going with Mo Wins. This is a horse that has a good amount of back class, Mike. And I think with this inside post position, can he just sort of tuck into the second or third flight and save valuable ground?
I like the trip that potentially is coming for him here, Dan. I also, again, I like the fact that it feels like he's sort of cycling back into good form. He lost his way for a bit there, but he's got back races that make him tough. It seems like he's in good form again right now, and I think he can get the right trip in here.
I hate chalking out, but Demolisher to me has been very, very impressive. And it's scary that perhaps we've yet to see his best after only 4 lifetime starts. I think he could be in front turning for home, and we'll see if this hot pace cooks his goose. I'm interested a little bit in the 12 King Ice rallying from the back to try to make it 2 wins in a row in this race. Mike's going for a price, however. 2, 4, 5, and 10. I'll go 4, 10, 5, and 12. It's the Too Much Coffee for Indiana Breds at Horseshoe, Indianapolis on Wednesday. Good luck. Hey, let me give you a hot tip. If you liked the content that you've seen before, click on the like and subscribe button right here. And of course, for more DRF videos like Race of the Days, stakes previews, click on the videos right here.